Hi everybody, this is Dr. Alex Hall. I'm one of the instructors for Bio 234 this crazy semester. And so Dr. Bryant, Dr. Hoig, and I are working together to create some laboratory materials for you for the rest of the semester. So what I'm going to do in this video is a little introduction to blood types and understanding why they're important and how they relate to transfusions. So first of all, your blood type, A positive, O negative, what have you, right? Your blood type is actually a way of describing what antigens you have on your red blood cells or erythrocytes. So let's back up a minute. An antigen is a protein or a carbohydrate protein molecule called a glycoprotein, which is on the surface of your cell's plasma membrane. So it's on the surface of the cell membrane, and it sits there and acts like an identifier or a name tag. Our body's immune system uses these antigens, these name tags, to let it know, hey, is that cell part of our body? Is it safe? Or is that a foreign invader that we've never seen before? In which case, it's going to attack it. So when we're talking about the types of antigens or name tags made of these glycoproteins that you can find on red blood cells, there are three different types of antigens you can have. You can have A antigen, or you can have B antigen, or you can have RH. So three different types of proteins. You can have one, you can have two, any combinations, or you could have none whatsoever. The other thing I want you to know about these is that each of these antigens has its own unique shape. It's not necessarily really a triangle, a half circle, or a square, but that's what I'm using to represent them today. So in terms of knowing how to describe some of these blood type, what we're doing is we're saying which types of antigens are present. In the case of A and B antigens, it's pretty straightforward. So if I'm a blood cell and I have A antigens on my cell membrane, then I am type A blood, because I have, that looks weird, I have A antigens on me, okay? Then you'd be like, well, where does the positive and the negative come in? Positive and negative comes in to say whether or not RH is present. If I have RH antigens in addition to my A antigens, I am A positive. If I don't have RH antigens, I am A negative. All right, so somebody who is type B blood has B antigens. And if they also have RH, they are B positive. If they do not have RH on their red blood cells, they are B negative. You can have both A and B, in which case your blood type is AB. If you have RH, I think you know where this is going. You are AB positive. If you don't have RH, you are AB negative. You could have neither A nor B. If you have neither A nor B, you are type O. I like to think of type O as type no, because you don't have either A or B. There is not an actual O antigen. So when we say type O, we just mean no A and no B, okay? So type O person has no A or B antigens on them. They could have RH, in which case we would call them O positive, or they might not, in which case we would call them O negative. So that's how we assign blood types. So the next thing I want to talk about is how our immune system is going to respond based on what our blood type is. So if I am A positive, right? I have A antigen and I have RH antigen on my red blood cells. So if I am A positive, my immune system, it knows A. It knows RH. They're family. They're on the list. They're cool. They're copacetic, right? But if for some reason my body were then to encounter a B antigen, it knows that is not self, right? These are self. This is non-self. This is a foreign invader. So if I see this, if my immune system sees this, I'm going to make antibodies against it. Those antibodies are going to be specific to the B antigen. They will only attack the B antigen. They won't attack A or RH, which is a good thing because that's me, right? They will attack, I will attack anything that is foreign to me, right? So if I am, for example, O positive, so neither A nor B and RH is present, if I'm O positive, the only antigen that's cool with me is RH. A and B are foreign. So if I were exposed to them, I would make antibodies that would attack A, that are specific to the A antigen, and I would make antibodies that are specific to the B antigen. For antibodies, which I think of as bodyguards because they're protecting you from foreign invaders, that's how I remember the word antibody, bodyguard, we call them anti-A and anti-B to help us keep in mind that they're fighting those particular antigens. So the types of antibodies you will make depends on what types of antigens you have, because you will never make antibodies normally against your own antigens, only against antigens that are foreign to you. So if we're thinking about giving somebody a blood transfusion, we want to make sure that the blood that we give them isn't going to set off an immune reaction. So first of all, when we think about what happens during a transfusion, we don't actually give people whole blood. So if I'm donating blood, they take my whole blood. It's my formed elements and my plasma with all those elements. But then they're going to separate those different factions out. So that if somebody is bleeding because of a surgery or a car accident or something like that and needs a blood transfusion, they're just going to give them the red blood cells. That's a good thing because any antibodies that person might have are in the plasma. We're not going to transfuse that. We're just going to transfuse the red blood cells. So if, as is true, I am A positive and you're going to give me some blood cells, you want to make sure that the blood cells that you give me only have the types of antigens with which my immune system is familiar and cool. You don't want to give me an antigen that I'm going to attack. So in this example, the only antigen I would attack is B antigen. So the only types of blood you could not give me in a transfusion would be any blood type that has the B antigen. So that could include, of course, B positive, B negative, or AB positive or AB negative, right? All of those have a B. That's foreign to me. You don't want to give that to me. So the one type of person who can receive any kind of blood from anybody is, of course, going to be the person for whom all of the antigens are familiar and welcome, right? So that's got to be somebody who has already on their own cells all of the antigens, right? So people who are AB positive, you can give them any type of blood because their immune system's like, oh yeah, A antigen, that's fine. B antigen, that's fine. RH antigen, that's fine too. So people who are AB positive, we call the universal recipient because they can receive blood from anybody. If we look at the other end of the spectrum, however, if I am O negative, so I don't have A, I don't have B, I don't have RH. If I am O negative, no blood that has an A, a B, or an RH is okay with me. So therefore, the only type of blood I can safely receive is O negative. In fact, since O negative has no antigens on it whatsoever, you can give O negative blood to anybody. So O negative is called the universal donor because you can donate to anybody. It's universal. That's also why on your medical TV shows, when they are getting somebody from a car accident and they're like, I need 2 units of O neg stat, right? If you're in an emergency situation, you don't know the patient's blood type yet, you're always going to be safe giving them O negative blood because there are no antigens on it. All right, I hope that sets you up to work on your lab activities for today. Any questions, let us know. Good luck.